All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for 9 minutes with me. Why am I in my car? Because I just landed, basically. I call it landed when I drive. I know it's people say landing when they fly. I just landed at Heights of Liverpool, and I can't wait to eat the best hot dogs you'll ever have on earth. You can pair them with the sides of the mac and cheese, mac salad. You can get chicken fingers. You can get the Philly steak. You can get a plethora of different food here at Heights of Liverpool. But again, the hot dogs are the bread and butter. Get on down here to Heights of Liverpool. Also, for their 2-for-1 month in February, you can get those coupons in the Post Standard. You can get those coupons in the Clipper if you're in and around Central New York. And if you're home visiting family and friends during the year, you got to get here to a staple of Central New York. It's Heights of Liverpool. Food you like, and they've been serving Central New York for decades. Heights of Liverpool is the title sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. So let's dive into some Buffalo Bills football, of course, as I've been really hitting this offseason pretty hard. And, obviously watched a ton with the regular season coming to just an absolute disastrous end. But where do we go from here with the Buffalo Bills? And I think one thing that is very, very certain right now is a lot of fans just kind of jump at this situation and go, well, they were playing with house money. They were supposed to be 6-10 or 7-9, maybe even 8-8. It was year two, not in total games in terms of Josh Allen. The offensive line was kind of remade. How good were the weapons going to be who they got in Cole Beasley and John Brown? Were the opponents going to be that good? Could the defense be as good? They ended up being a little bit better. And, of course, they had a lot of cap room. And now we're just going into the future, and this thing is a cinch. And that's what happens a lot in sports, right? You arrive early. That's another term that people are using. I've been throwing that into the trash can because I don't even know what that really means anymore. The Buffalo Bills arrived early this year. Okay, so instead of arriving at 6-10, 7-9, or 8-8, they went 10-6, took advantage of a suspect schedule in terms of quality. I still give them credit for winning primetime games against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, Sunday night against Pittsburgh to get into the postseason, and they won a lot of toss-up games that the old regimes would have lost in general, and we never knew at the beginning, and frankly, we didn't know through the year how good a lot of these other teams were as well. Some people discredit the Miami win, but the Miami Dolphins beat the Patriots in the last week of the season and cost them a higher playoff spot in terms of, the first round bye. The New York Jets got better as the year went on. The New York Jets, the Buffalo Bills beat them twice. When you have a look at the other games on the schedule, the Bills beat the Bengals, a team that was terrible, but going into the year, we didn't know they were going to be terrible. You look at the game at Tennessee, the Titans end up making the playoffs. I know that the Bills didn't beat that Tennessee team with the current Ryan Tannehill and all the rest, and Derrick Henry being even better, but you get the point. The Bills played all their games at 1 o'clock except for Thanksgiving 4:25 against Dallas and a Sunday nighter against Pittsburgh, which wasn't even on the schedule to begin with. They had to flex that game in to Sunday night because of the magnitude of the game for both Pittsburgh and the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people use that phrase, well, they arrived early. Okay, so they arrive early, they go 10-6, they make the playoffs. They should have beaten the Houston Texans. They didn't. They choked it away, and we know why. But looking into the future, look into the crystal ball, why is it that people think that just because this year going 10-6 and making the playoffs and using the words arriving early with the cap room and with young players and the development and the draft picks coming up and McBean with Brandon Bean and Sean McDermott, that next year is automatically going to be better? I look at it as a complete other way because they're going to have a lot more challenges. Number one, they're definitely going to have a different schedule, folks. This schedule is going to be a lot harder than last year. They got to face Patrick Mahomes. They got to face Russell Wilson. Their road games out west are going to be a lot more taxing in terms of difficulty and in terms of the mileage. It's not going to be just sitting pretty at 1 o'clock every single game on the East Coast and in Buffalo in general. There's going to be more primetime games. The Bills' ratings were through the roof this year. They set ratings record for Thanksgiving, the highest rated game in well over 20 years for a Thanksgiving Day game. The Cowboys have been on for years, but it was really the influx of the Buffalo Bills and Bills Mafia. Look at the Bills-Steelers Sunday night rating. Incredible through-the-roof ratings. Look at the ratings against the Houston Texans, the ABC ESPN playoff game. That was the highest ever rated game for ESPN and ABC in the NFL playoffs. So I think when you take a look at this Buffalo Bills schedule, it's going to be hard. There's going to be better opponents. There's going to be better quarterbacks. It's going to be harder games in terms of times and flying and miles and preparation and all the rest. And that just gets guys and coaches out of their mode. This is a routine league, man. So that's going to be a change right there. Plus, the Bills are going to have a big old bullseye on the back that's even bigger than this year. People are going to be coming after them more. This is a Buffalo Bills team that is on the rise, at least in the NFL. That means you have a bigger bullseye on your back. There's going to be more film out there. Josh Allen turns the ball over a lot. He was turning it over with the interception, then he had the fumble problems. He's still looking like he's a deer in headlights type of player. We saw that pitch back to Dawson Knox where his eyes were wide, and of course the broken play deep throw to the fullback in double coverage. What in God's name was that? He should have also been picked off twice down in Houston as well. There's going to be a lot of teams who are going to look at that tape and go, whoop, we can get after this guy. He can't handle the moment. And oh, by the way, the biggest struggle Josh Allen had was against big-time pressure defenses that were coming from every which way. That means that Josh Allen has to get even better at pre-snap. He has to get rid of the ball even quicker, and that's going to be on Brian Daboll as well. Assuming he comes back as offensive coordinator, it's going to be a big, big step for Josh Allen. And here's another thing that you have to look at in terms of the difficulty next year for the Buffalo Bills. The New England Patriots could not be going anywhere. I know a lot of people want to say that the dynasty is dead. I was texting with someone not too long ago who knows someone within the Tom Brady TB12 organization that perhaps this is his last game and he's going to go to California and expand the TB12. You can only say what sources say. Is that a guarantee? Right now, it's not. If the New England Patriots want Tom Brady back, they'll get Tom Brady back. But Tom Brady has all the power. He has all the control. He could say to New England, look, I want to come back. You guys need to fix the roster a little bit. I'm all in on it, but if you don't worry about it. I'm going to go somewhere else and play. I could go to the Colts. I could go to the Chargers. I could go to the Raiders. I could go wherever I want. I set my own market. I'm Tom Brady, and at 43 years old almost, I have a lot more in the tank. The Patriots are still lurking. That's another thing for Bills fans. They think, oh, well, the dynasty's dead. It's an automatic handoff for a division title for the Buffalo Bills. The other big part, of course, is, the Bills, they have the cap room and all that. They have the draft picks. Okay, great. But again, I look at it like this. You hit the reset button and you start brand new. And all the factors that you wondered about the Bills going into 2019, you wonder about them going into 2020. For the Bills being on the rise, there could be other teams that are on the rise as well. Folks, there's too many factors in sports to say that anything is guaranteed or that they arrived early. So because they went 10-6 instead of 6-10, 8-8, 7-9, whatever, because this season happened, they're automatically going to win the AFC East. They've automatically got to have a better playoff berth. It's not possible. You just can't do it that way. Look at the LA Rams. Last year went to the Super Bowl, should have beaten the Patriots. This year, missed the playoffs. Chicago Cubs, they went from lovable losers to a team that should be a dynasty, according to a lot of people. Chris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, Anthony Rizzo, a big-time core, big-time pitching staff led by John Lester and company, a witty GM and Theo Epstein. They've done fairly well. I mean, if I'm a Cubs fan, I'd be pretty happy with the World Series still because they've been a playoff team and a consistent challenger to winning the NL Central, but they went from a lovable loser to a team that was basically penciled in to be the next dynasty in Major League Baseball. Look at what's happened now. They've swooned down a little bit. They fired Joe Madden. There's talk they could trade Chris Bryant as well. Unbelievable stuff. Look at my St. Bonaventure Bonnies last year. That was a team that basically overachieved. They end up in the A-10 final. They're up double digits against St. Louis. You got to close that door. They lost, but then Bonnet people, some of them, well, that's okay. The future's bright. We got the three freshmen in Welch and Lofton and Oshinini. Things are going to look great. Here we go. Well, look what happened this year. Oshun gets hurt at the beginning of the year. They lose a bunch of games, and now the Bonnies have to win the A-10 to even make it into the NCAA tournament. What I'm saying is this year is over. It's the reset button. The Bills arrived in the playoffs. They had a chance to beat the Texans. They choked away the lead, and now you got to hit reset, and you got to make the draft work. You got to hit the cap money. You got to have everybody develop the same way you did this last year. All I'm saying is nothing is guaranteed. Just because you rose, you're a team on the rise, it looks really good for the future. It doesn't mean the Bills are going to go 10-6 or better next year. Hides of Liverpool, thank you. Title sponsor of the ML Sports Platter. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.